Hi there, everyone. This is Arslan from GDG Cloud Islamabad, and hopefully everybody can hear me properly, and the sound is coming through great. Right now, I'm outside. I will tell you later a little bit, but if you can hear me, just give a shout out that I am audible, and we will start in 5 to 10 minutes. 5 minutes, I guess, just for the audience to build up a little bit.
Am I supposed to stay silent or like I'm supposed to talk?
Can you repeat that, Arslan?
I was just kidding. I'm like अभी silent वाला part चल रहा है इसके बाद में conversation start होगी.
No, we have got audience in, and I think we should be having the people. So just a little bit intro of Arslan that I can give. I will give him the space to actually give his full intro. Arslan, as you all know, is working in Google, and I think that's a really interesting thing and a really interesting journey that he would be willing to share with us, that how he started from Pakistan and then ended up in Google and what he's doing over there. So, Arslan, let's start with how long have you been in Google?
Really, to be really precise, 1 year and 10 months.
All right, that's accurate. I guess
So-
you're in the metrics department somewhere that you're giving precise answers.
No, I just checked before like logging in. I was looking at my profile at Google and I'm like, okay, let's see.
That that's a
Somehow
good
I knew
thing.
you're gonna ask this question.
All right, all right. So just to give our audience a brief intro, like what was your start? Like, what's your background? Where you're from in Pakistan? How what was your upbringing? How did you grow up? What was your fascination with tech?
So is it gonna be like the communication of medium is gonna be English or Urdu, or I can feel like use freely?
I think it's you can be casual about it. You can
Okay.
go mixed. Normally, when GDG Cloud and GDG Live session go online, one of the most biggest complaint we do get is that how come you don't do the sessions purely in Urdu? But we were doing a session on AI and machine learning, so I get to know that you have to say it as machine zahanat, and those terms. But we can go full desi. Koi masla nahi hai. I would like to you to be comfortable in telling your story however you want it.
I'm comfortable in both. लेकिन मुझे लगता है audience जो है like ज़्यादा like करेगी if it's in Urdu, क्योंकि if there's a chai in the name, it sounds more like desi, so we should be
Yeah,
desi.
yeah. So we had a GDE from India as well giving a lecture, and we actually went hardcore Punjabi with him as well. So it's
Oh
all
wow,
up to you.
nice.
It's
Yeah,
all up to
Punjabi
you.
would be like
whichever.
थोड़ा area कम हो जाता ना, like we are representing
Yeah.
whole Pakistan, so like Urdu is
Yeah.
best.
So, Arslan, give us a little bit background so that people can actually associate with you that yes, you are a Desi boy, and how you, what was your upbringing, sort of, and how come you went into technology?
Yeah, so basically born and raised in Kharia. I don't know, it's not a very famous town, but it's a तहसील in गुजरात में तहसील है खारियां, उधर से belong करता हूँ. Born and raised there, stayed all my life there. उसके बाद यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ गुजरात में चला गया. उधर से I think I was like lost. I don't know what to do, so mass comm में admission ले लिया. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like koi vision nahi, like zero vision. I know like a lot of smart people, they have like visions, but I'm not one of those smart people. So mera koi vision nahi tha. And then
I guess
after,
it's more about where do you want to go, and you want to explore everything. And I've seen the similar situation with most of the youth in Pakistan, that the clear heading is not available, and just like you said, they are on their own journey to find themselves.
yep. Then after like I think a year, 2 semester के बाद, I think I realized कि like ये ना मजा नहीं आ रहा, like इसमें कुछ extra नहीं आ रहा. उसके बाद after some time I got applied for Punjab University for IT, like BSIT. Luckily उसमें admission मिल गया, and then like first semester में click कर गया. I'm like, okay, this is for me. और जो IT इंडस्ट्री में जाने की चॉइस थी वो मेरी नहीं थी. It was like forced upon me from my like brother. मतलब बोला नहीं नहीं करो ही करो, इसका स्कोप है, like this is good, so I should be thankful for him for this. But like again, like first semester में click कर गया. Like when you're intro to programming कर रहे हो, algorithm, like when they're explaining like what algorithms is, तो click कर गया. एक बड़ी मुझे उनका हमारे एक टीचर थे, प्रोफेसर थे पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी में, उन्होंने बोला कि डॉक्टर्स का काम है लाइक उन्होंने पेशेंट को इलाज करना है, वकील का काम है उसने ये करना, लाइक एवरी प्रोफेशन हैज अ सर्टेन थिंग, बट एज अ कंप्यूटर साइंटिस्ट हमारा कोई एक स्पेसिफिक टास्क नहीं है. वी आर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर्स, हम किसी भी
Yeah,
डोमेन में जा
yeah.
सकते हैं. So this is the thing I like I'm like okay yeah, like think logically. And उसके बाद फैमिली का वैसे ही इमिग्रेशन होगी यूएस में, and they were like okay just तुम्हें भी यूएस में आना पड़ेगा, and I was like opposed of that. I'm like नहीं मुझे नहीं जाना, like क्या करूंगा, मुझे complete करने हैं studies. But I think like I ended up like they convinced me और जाना पड़ेगा. फिर यूएस में गया, उधर जाके काफी सारे कॉलेजेस में अप्लाई किया. And there was like I was trying कि जो मैंने 2 सेमेस्टर पाकिस्तान में पढ़ा वो मेरा वेस्ट ना हो जाए, तो उसके लिए काफी सारी जगह मैं ट्राई कर रहा था कि मुझे उसका क्रेडिट मिल जाए. And they finally gave me the credit, and I ended up in New York, Hofstra. Then
Yeah, I was actually looking at your LinkedIn and I couldn't make sense of the jump that was there from one university to another suddenly. And so I think that clears that up.
yeah, I think I had like UOG some like, but I don't have that on my LinkedIn. मुझे I don't know मुझे add करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए because it doesn't like represent anything, but it definitely gave me like a lot of perspective. So that's like not showable knowledge, but that's like a उसने मेरी growth की in a sense. But I don't think like it's a LinkedIn material. लेकिन yeah, it was good. बाकी
So,
one thing I
yeah.
would say like इधर आने के बाद like US में आने के बाद I realized like opportunities are like a lot more compared to what we have in Pakistan right now. Hopefully चीजें better हो गई हैं last 5 years में, but यहाँ पे like for example you have like more exposure to conferences, hackathons. Actually like I love hackathons. Like I have मुझे पता नहीं था what is hackathon. I'm like there's a hackathon going on in our college. Hackathon क्या होता है? And then I realized for 24 hours, you are in a room with your team. You're just building something from scratch. So वो idea बड़ा fascinate किया. Although like कामयाब नहीं हुआ था वो. Like we always ended up like not delivering the
Yeah.
product. But the experience was really good. Like you get to meet a lot of people. Or networking I think हो जाती है and you get exposure. So
So I think just to double down on your point on the hackathon, right now Pakistan has actually evolved so much that it's not just only hackathon generically, it's hackathon especially on different topics. I've had not the personal experience of going there, but still observing the hackathons that are fintech related. There were hackathons that are social entrepreneurial related. There were hackathons on agri tech even. So the Pakistani ecosystem with respect to the entrepreneurial environment as well as the experiencing of you can say different niche fields has actually increased so much that the students are actually not only just applying themselves over there but getting the you can say the exposure from the industrial experts that right now what is going on. So one of the example that I can give is of a national incubation center. There are a couple of many hackathons that have gone over there, and one of the key things that I always press the juniors in my circle is that you can go over to the hackathon. It doesn't matter how good your idea is or not, or the industry expert shoots it down, or is it financially possible. But the networking that you get over there, that is one hell of a thing that everybody should go through. And that
yep.
networking actually exposes you to a lot of industry simultaneously, a lot of opinions that have formed in the industry based on the experience of those experts. And I think again it's just like standing on shoulders of the giant, that you can see farther than those people because you have your own experience coupled with their own experience, I think that's really amazing. And just like you said, hackathon, I would really press anybody watching this live stream or even the recording on the YouTube that they should definitely go for hackathons. So,
Yep.
Asma, tell me, what's the difference that you have felt between the Pakistani educational ecosystem and the American ecosystem? From our perspective over here, being in Asia and watching the Hollywood perspective, I think that there's a the hardworking element is a lot in Asians, but we don't get the exposure of the high tech environments.
I can speak for myself क्योंकि broadly तो नहीं बोल सकता लेकिन मेरे experience में like हम जब कहते हैं ना like for example hackathon, let's say I was in Punjab University, I'm just imagining a scenario and there's a hackathon coming. मैं बोलूंगा यार देखो hackathon है चलते हैं and मेरे दोस्त बोलेंगे छड्डो यार चला रोटी खान चलिए like I think that's the biggest
Yeah,
difference
yeah,
like
yeah. I totally agree. Yeah,
think,
exactly.
yeah so I think मैंने पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी में कुछ लाइक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जैसे लाइक आपके स्टूडेंट बॉडी होती है एंड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स दे आर देयर लेकिन मैंने किसी में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं किया 2 सेमेस्टर्स में एंड आई रिग्रेट दैट क्योंकि उस वक्त ऐसा लगता था यार इट्स अ अनकूल थिंग टू डू बट इट्स नॉट
Yeah,
लाइक ये जो मेंटालिटी है ना जो शायनेस है हमारी जब तक हम इसकी
yeah.
लाइक इससे रीड नहीं कर करते ना सो तब तक मुश्किल हो
So,
जाएगा
one of the things that I experienced in that was that within my university, I think I was in third year or second year, there was a alumni meetup. And that actually opened up sort of me into socializing with the people. And that actually showed me the power of networking. That you, even if you have got, I don't remember who said this, but anybody who doesn't ask a question, anybody who asks a question is dumb only once, and the one who doesn't ask the question will remain dumb all his life. So I
Yep.
go with that strategy. The question can be dumb enough that pani kya cheez hai, but once you get it answered, I think you will have the lot more knowledge to go forward with that. So I promised my audience that I would tell them where I'm sitting. So my tea just arrived. I'm actually at Chai Khana. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's pretty good.
it's the chai hour. So I got my tea with me. So coming back to how you actually went from undergrad, uh, how did you land up at Google? What's the story over there?
So before I start my answer, like most of the people I have met at Google, अगर आप उनसे ये बोलेंगे, they will say like, we just got lucky. जो imposter syndrome है ना, हमारे में बहुत ज़्यादा भरा हुआ है. So I think I would say the same thing. I think I got lucky somehow.
I
Like,
was reading that recently. I had a chat with one of the Googler, and I was reading his blog as well. And he said the same thing, exactly the same thing, that when you are in Google and when you are in the team, and he's in the Singapore office right now, and he's वो भी बिल्कुल यही कह रहे थे कि यार जिस वक्त मैं सारों के साथ बैठा था ना, मुझे लगता है यार पता नहीं मैं किस तरह आ गया हूँ यहाँ पे. But you're just a common person over there doing the same thing as other people.
yeah, like a lot of people, like I think a myth है कि Google में आप काम कर रहे हैं, Facebook में काम कर रहे हैं, FANG में बंदा काम कर रहा है, बहुत super smart है. ना, like there are people like me also, like common बंदे भी हैं. So always dream big. Like I think जब मैं 9th or 10th grade में था, like metric में था, I saw a video of Google Office on YouTube. But I was like amazed. I'm like, wow, यार कितने जबरदस्त जगह है. I should uh, sorry. Yeah, so मैं इतनी जबरदस्त जगह I should work here. But मुझे idea था like Google करता क्या, like किस चीज में hire करता. Like now I know it hires in every domain. But like कोई idea था, बस एक dream था कि यार one day I want to work here. And no like path नहीं था सामने. बस दुआ ही थी like या अल्लाह कुछ कर दे.
So
लेकिन जब
yeah, I think just only looking at the Google office, that's one hell of an inspiration to actually go and work over there. I've seen most of the offices replicate the whole same model of being Googleicious about it. That's actually an adjective that even people in Google use. That the offices would be sort of souped up to the max comfort level, so you don't have to worry about anything while you're in office except for what you want to work on.
Yep. I think I used to spend like 12 hours on campus before work from home. और like बीच में से
Or
4-5 घंटे काम करता था, बाकी सारा like sorry, you're breaking up. I can hear you. Hello?
yeah, sorry, my internet connection jumped up a bit.
Yeah, so what were you asking?
Can you hear me now?
Like, yep.
All right. So the internet keeps jumping up and down. So basically, again, just like to know the story. Like, did you apply? How did you get in? How did you know about the opportunity that yes, there's an opportunity that you can go on?
So I used to apply every single year, like as an internship program. So there's like different steps, different kind of internship Google has. एक है like when you're in like first or second year of your college, like मतलब junior year, I mean not junior year, like freshman year or sophomore year. उनके लिए अलग से internships हैं, and junior और seniors के लिए अलग kind of internship है. So I applied for all of them. Every single year मुझे वो एक cold सी email आएगी like sorry we are not moving forward with your application, like nothing, like just a blank response. uh, then I'm like okay यार ठीक है, अब नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ, like let's move on. And I would just apply, like I would just try to build
I
up on
like
it.
that enthusiasm that you don't get down with the loss of opportunity. Once it's gone, it's gone. You're like, let's move on. Let's hunt for the next big thing.
Now to be honest, I have seen कि बहुत सारे लोग इस चीज से discourage होके, and I know like there are
Yeah.
people who are in my friend circle जो कि मेरे से बहुत ज्यादा talented है और apply नहीं करते because of the fear of rejection. So we have to get over that fear. Um, but I
I
think
think
मेरा
once
trick
you
है.
get over, once you get a rejection, I think only then you know why you get the rejection. The best thing you can ask is any feedback. That goes not just only on the professional level. I think you will agree that goes on the personal level as well. That if you get rejected somewhere, you just ask anything I can improve. That
Yep.
would improve my chances. So
But
yeah,
the problem is most of the emails, rejection emails that you get is like very generic. Okay, sorry, we are not moving forward with your application. Like there is no information provided. So I would just assume, okay, यार अगर मैं interview stage में नहीं जा रहा तो something is wrong with my resume. I should brush up my resume. I should work on it. और
yeah,
resume को brush
yeah.
up करने के लिए जरूरी है कि आपके पास material हो. So I had to create the material for that first. So that's when I realized कि मुझे hackathons attend करने पड़ेंगे. मुझे like everybody goes to college, हर बंदे ने सारे courses किए हैं जो आप कर रहे हो. What differentiates you from other people is आपकी extracurricular activities. What are you doing extra? Why are you going overboard? So hackathons and like private like projects पे काम करना, and like I would try to like जो भी हमारे college में extra elective offer होती थी computer science की, I would just take up that. I'm like okay, I want to learn this. I want to learn this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I want to learn this. So I think took like a lot of electives. वैसे भी I like the environment of computer science department than the rest of the college. So I was like, okay, I feel comfortable here. I will just take classes here. Um, then next year I applied again, and I was taking this software engineering class. और उसके one day like the professor was like, you should apply to like big companies like Google or Facebook. I'm like, wow, this is really inspiring. If he thinks I should apply, I should definitely apply.
Okay.
Then I guess every summer मैं कहता था like पाकिस्तान जाऊंगा, but then I was like okay, पाकिस्तान में बाद में जा सकता हूँ. Let's focus on internship this summer. थोड़ी internship, थोड़ा experience ले लेता हूँ, बाद में काम आएगा. And it did. So I try to like do internships or like research assistant for professors. So I think you can see that on my like LinkedIn too. But that actually
Yeah.
helped build up my resume to like उस level तक आ जाए कि मुझे कम से कम interview के लिए बुला ले, like I should like as a start. Then again next year फिर apply किया, nothing. Then I like worked on a local like a company in Long Island, which worked for Major League Baseball. They developed software for MLB teams. So I worked there. I really liked the environment. I really enjoyed it, and that gave me like a different perspective of all the classes, like how we should take classes. So the point here is like everybody who's in college, I mean university, उनको इंटर्नशिप करनी चाहिए साथ साथ, क्योंकि जब आप इंटर्नशिप करके वापस आप क्लास में आते हो ना, आपके सोचने का तरीका ही डिफरेंट होता है. लाइक हाउ यू लुक एट सॉफ्टवेयर, हाउ यू hear things is different. उससे पहले आप चीजों को कनेक्ट नहीं कर पा रहे होते। लाइक इंटर्नशिप आपको लाइक वो नॉलेज देती है इंडस्ट्री का, जिससे आप लाइक चीजों को कनेक्ट कर सकते हो, एंड दैट लाइक बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग आती है चीजों की।
Yeah,
देन वन
again, totally, I totally agree with you. And one of the experience that changed my understanding of how to actually do research and go forward about in your professional career was one of my internships. My boss said कि यार ये जावा में ये पूरा प्रोग्राम बना के लेगा. I'm like, मैंने जावा की शक्ल भी नहीं देखी कभी. How do I do that? He's like, no worries. This is the. He just gave me the first link of the first library that I can use, and he's like, bye bye, on your own. So at that
या
time, I was a little bit confident that the only greatest skill that I had at that time with respect to my professional career was that I can Google the shit out of anything, and that's what I did out of that library. And in the end of my internship, I actually delivered what I was supposed to. So
नाइस
yes, I totally agree. And at the same time, I think within the engineering realm, this is not pressured enough. But I know for a fact that within Pakistan and even outside Pakistan, if you are going from your bachelor's in business administration (BBA) to MBA and masters in, they will require you to have at least 1 year of industry experience. Without that, you cannot go into masters. The same is for bachelors. Even now in Pakistan, they have made it mandatory to have 3 months of industry experience for you to actually get your degree. Normally people just go over to their chacha mama taya and just get a signed certificate, but they tried their best. The government is trying their best to get that.
So there's a actually funny story about the internship. So what I did was हमारे option था कि आप elective ले सकते हो internship course को, which is like you basically do internship in at any company, और आपने present करना है, और आपने like mid-year presentation, like mid-semester presentation at the end of this presentation है, and you get your feedback from whoever your manager was. And जब मैं वापस आया internship complete करके, I had to present the knowledge I gained and everything in front of whole department. Or present karte hain, the first thing I said, I'm like, you do not teach us to like write good code. You teach us to write code, but not good code. There's like no incentive. And sare
Oh,
professor kind of like, initially they got offended, but then I explain, I'm like, okay, this is the reason why I'm saying this. All the assignments, there's यहाँ पे ये चीजें होती हैं, लेकिन आपको कोई incentive नहीं देते कि अच्छा code लिखो. Like I was roasted. Like my first pull request on like the code I tried to submit, उसको 2 महीने लगे. Because there were like so many things. I was style guide नहीं follow कर रहे, ये नहीं follow कर रहे, वो नहीं follow कर रहे, but there was like so many comments on that. But वो मुझे आज तक याद है, like उससे मैं आज तक सीखता हूँ. मुझे मेरी first pull request थी ना, it just doesn't go away. So I think like उसके बाद जब मैं classes में गया, then I used to like think that way, like okay, industry में अगर मैं होता तो मैं code कैसे लिखता, rather than like इस assignment के लिए मुझे ये करना है. So that's kind of a takeaway. But coming back to your initial question, like how I ended up at Google was, then 1 year, I think like I went to conferences. It was sponsored by Facebook. I was doing like a cybersecurity course with them, and they offered like this paid conference attendance. So हमें California fly करेंगे like to their Menlo Park office, and it was like a week-long thing, or multiple companies. It was Enigma conference, like Usenix Enigma conference. उधर सारी companies थी, Google, Netflix, Amazon. So काफी सारी networking की, काफी सारे लोगों के cards लिए, and then I just shoot them emails. I'm like, this is me. I introduce myself, and I'm like, hey, I spoke with you on this conference, and uh, I'm looking for a job in your company, and that kind of a thing. I'm not sure if that helped me or not, because I never like got like a very encouraging response from them. But after like some time, I got an email from Google saying like, hey, you applied for internship last year. Do you want to apply this year too? Or वो मेरा like last semester चल रहा था, and I'm like, I don't want to apply for internship, but if they're like full-time positions, I would be very much interested, क्योंकि अब college तो over हो गया. Then they were like, okay, let's apply for that. Like I think like it gave me like a fast track somehow. Maybe there was some kind of a referral behind it. I'm not like sure to this date. Like for the very first time they sent me an online challenge, and I'm like, yes, something more than that. And I prepared like a
Something
lot for
more
that.
than a rejection email.
Yep. Actually, like by the time I applied to Google, I already got rejection for more than 30 companies already. I'm like, wherever I apply, they will just give me like a very generic email. Sorry, we are not moving forward with your application. And जब गूगल का उसी के साथ 2-3 कंपनीज का और भी हो गया, I'm like, okay, जब जब अल्लाह देता है फिर एकदम से ही सारा दे देता है. Then I kind of like got overwhelmed a bit. लेकिन उसके साथ the plus point was I had more incentive to prepare for interviews. Then I formed up a group. Actually, like there was a few students in my college, and there was this professor who I spoke about. Like he asked me to like apply for big companies. So he prepared me for interviews. After college, like जब classes over होगी, we would book a room और वो हमें question देगा और हम whiteboard पे solve करेंगे, because usually the style is like whiteboard questions. And I realized whiteboard पे questions को solve करना is way more difficult than doing lead code. Because you have to like think about the space, and there were like a lot of tips and tricks that you need to know. Like for example, बजाय से कि like आप trivial काम करो, just write a function call and say like I'll add the function later अगर मेरे पास time है. So this is like
Yeah.
kind of like a really helpful trick. Uh, but छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं इस तरह की like build up करती हैं. And then I prepared for it. I think I failed my first like after I passed the coding challenge, there was like a phone interview, and I failed that one. It was like a really 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 easy question, but I got nervous. I think I don't know what I did. I wasn't able to solve it, and they were like, "Okay, sorry, we're not moving forward with your application." But luckily, I had applied to multiple roles, so then they contacted me for a different role. I'm like, "Yes, I still have a chance." And this
Have
time,
different lifeboats, I guess, for the same company even.
yep. But this time I prepared like really hard, like cracking the coding interview को मैंने पढ़ दिया, like not had my I'm not a big reader, so सिर्फ उससे tips and tricks सारी उससे ली. Actually solved नहीं किया the questions, and then I did some like hacker rank, lead code kind of questions. But I was like studying a lot. और मैंने घर में किसी को नहीं बताया, ना ही मैंने अपने फ्रेंड्स में से किसी को बताया कि मैंने अप्लाई किया हुआ. Because again, the fear of rejection. अगर आप रिजेक्ट हो गए फिर सारे पूछेंगे यार तूने अप्लाई किया था गूगल के लिए, क्या बना तेरा. And I hate that kind of questions. Like, okay, यार कुछ बनेगा तो बस ही पता चल जाएगा.
I
Like,
think rejection from top 10 tier companies, be it Amazon or anything, it should be a badge in itself. That yes, I got rejection in like second round or third round from a multi-tech you know uh, company, and that should mean that yes, I'm gonna try again. That's what it means.
yeah, that's true. Like in again, like हमारा actually जो as a collective पाकिस्तानी कौम का एक जो है ना एक behavior कह सकते हैं. We identify bad things and we criticize them, but we don't give constructive feedback, which is the
Yeah,
key here.
yeah,
Like आप किसी चीज को आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हो, इसका लाइक अगर आप मुझे बोलो यार तुम्हारे में ये खामी है, like you're bad in this thing, it's not gonna help me. But if you say okay तुम्हारे में ये खामी है and this is how you can fix it, well that will be like really good. And I have not seen this enough in our community at all. uh,
so
so yeah.
I sort of two questions popped in my head from the experiences that you had. Number one, experience versus, or rather, skill versus your network. What do you think? Just like you said, that network did not play a very important role right now, but क्या कहते हैं, it actually sort of boosted sort of your exposure or your you can say willingness to go forward. So, what
Yep.
do you think, especially with respect to the people who are already in second year, third year within Pakistan? What do you think? Should they focus more on their building their skill set? Should they focus more on building their network? Should they keep a balance between two? What is your opinion in that?
I think if you're like sophomore or junior, focus should be on skills. But if you're in a senior year, like last year, then you should focus on networking. Like in initially, like first 3 years में आपको skills अपने build करने हैं. ताकि आप किसी से मिल रहे हो, like you have something to show them. Okay, yeah, like I'm making connection with you, and this is how you need to remember me. Like अगर मैं आपसे मिलता हूँ, I'll remember, यार, yeah, I met this person at this conference. और उसके क्लाउड में बहुत जबरदस्त नॉलेज था उसके पास, then that will be helpful. Like अगर if you don't have anything, like कोई skill नहीं है, then what's the point of making a connection? So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So basically, first focus on your skill set, and from your skill set, then you move forward towards your network and exploit that network to actually get you the position you want based on your skill set. Am I right?
Yep.
All right. So once you went into Google, first
Oh, that
two three
was
days, what was it like?
awesome. Like that's the only thing I can say. Like really amazing. Because I told you like I got rejected for like a first role. The second role I had applied for was a engineering residency program, which was a 1 year program designed by Google only for like fresh graduates. So सिर्फ fresh graduates apply कर सकते हैं उस role के लिए, like within a 1 year of graduation. उसके बाद आप apply नहीं कर सकते. And I think it's on a pause for some time now, but I really like that pipeline. उसमें क्या होता है? They hire in cohorts like batches, and training होती है batches में. So what they did was they hired us. They made us like a chat on Discord. They're like, okay, just coordinate with each other. This is our starting date. Or before even starting, we kind of like socialized with each other. हमें पता था एक दूसरे का, like काफी सारे लोगों को जानते थे. On the first day we showed up as a group of 100 people. We already had friends. And like for it was like a 2 months training, which was I think the best paid vacation ever. Um,
So I think I this is something that I have observed in the American culture as well as the European culture, that even at university level or even at college level, when you are sort of shortlisted and you know that you are in the 40 people or the 100 people that are going to the class, they automatically make you a group and they actually encourage you to network even before you meet. It's not
yep.
just big organization, but rather even the culture starts from very down. A very rudimentary form of this thing I've seen in Pakistan is when people actually start interacting once they get their acceptance of the university, but it's not in the university group, it's in the test preparation group. They say that I am going to, let's suppose, NAST or LUMS, and then somebody else says the same.
I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement. uh, Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, I think that's a good thing. Like for me, it was I had like really high incentive to do that because I was moving from New York to California, which is like a really big jump for me. I don't know anybody in California, so I had no choice. Or I thought it's better to have like friend circle over there, and I had to like get a place to live in. So I got an arrangement like with a few people. Actually, there were like a lot of channels going on, like people who are living for like places to live, and then we just socialized with each other and kind of got a place together. So I
Sorry, I
think that
got
was my
cut off in
incentive.
the middle.
Yeah, I think like the that was my biggest incentive, to be honest, like to get a place to live in and not be a lonely person, like have some friends. I have like seen a lot of people who joined after me, like not from this pipeline, like not from the young residence pipeline, just like as a like an L3. Uh, they have like struggled. Some of them have struggled like in making friends and this social circle because you're a new guy. It's not like easy. New guy or new girl. It's not easy to like make friends where everybody's already
I
like know
think
each other and you're a new person.
I think this is a core problem with all the engineers. They're socially a bit shy and difficult to integrate with one another until unless they find a common topic to talk about.
Yeah, luckily for me, it was not the case. Like everybody I meet is like really social and like really friendly. I'm like, wow, this is awesome, which is a good thing. Maybe I'm like anecdotal like evidence, but again, like Google culture is good. Like I really like the culture. Like if I'm staying like 12 hours on campus, there's a reason. It's not like somebody's forcing me to do it. I chose to do that. Um,
So
Uh,
yeah. So coming a little bit to your sort of place in Google, can you explain to our audience that what is it that you do at Google? Because Google does a lot of stuff.
yes, they do. Yeah, I think when I joined, after my 2 months training, there was like a placement on a team, and the team I was placed on was a CRM team, which is basically like all the communications that between like Google Play and all the users, like notifications, emails, etc. And I think that was like a 4 month time, and I just spent time trying to do stuff which was assigned to me, and I did not have a sense of bigger picture in that at that time, like what is going on, what is happening. I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. I worked on like a okay, I don't know, like yeah, like I worked on like a few features, like, but it wasn't like I had a very bigger picture of like what's gonna happen and that kind of thing. Like in after 4 months, I switched to this new team called Spam Team. So it's still in Google Play, but our core goal is to like fight and stop like the inorganic activity on the Play ecosystem. That that ecosystem could involve fake reviews, incentivized reviews. It could be like installs or like any kind of activity related to Play you can think of. Uh, it could be like bots, uh, but the the interesting part is it's like an ongoing fight. We detect something. Okay, this is how we are getting like bad activity. We create something, and then the other actor comes up with something new. So it's like a constant fight. We have to like be on our feet. It's kind of like similar to cybersecurity in a sense that you are always
Yeah,
like evolving. So
I was getting to the same example that within the cybersecurity realm, the people who are actually defending have to plug in all the holes, and hacker just have to find one.
yep. So it's always like a constant fight. Like um, yeah, but like the thing I like is when I joined the team, like nobody asked me what my skills were to like actually like they're like, okay, you are here, we trust you, this is a good person. They did not know like if I knew C++ or Java or machine learning or whatever technologies we use, all the internal tools we use. Like nobody asked me if you know them. They were like, okay, this is a cool project. Like these are the few projects we have, um, and I was given the option to like choose actually, which is really cool as a really new engineer. Like, okay, yeah, I have the option to choose. I have a say in this, and then they're like, okay, design something, and we have like total freedom in designing, which I find like really cool that we can choose which tool we need to use, what infrastructure we should be using, and all that. Uh, Again, that's like very different from all the job posting I have seen lately on LinkedIn from Pakistan. They will be asking for like very specific thing, like 5 years of experience in Node.js, like 3 years of experience in X domain or Y domain, or so I think that's what I like about like big companies. They don't say like, okay, we want to hire a person on this domain. They say like we want to hire like smart people, and we will just trust them to like to learn the skill on the job. And sometimes if it's like a really hard skill, they will pay you for that. They will like reimburse you for like if you're taking a course outside. So that's a really good thing.
Basically, you just hijacked my segue. I was actually going to go forward like,
Sorry, you're breaking up. I
can you
can't
hear
hear
me
you.
now?
Yep, all good. Yep, I can hear you now.
Am I audible now?
Yep.
All right. So basically, my point was that what is the like Google is famous for its innovative culture. One thing that sets it apart from Microsoft and other companies is how quickly they can innovate. So, what's the culture like over there? Let's suppose you get an idea, or somebody else gets an idea. What's the culture over there? How you can take that idea into fruition? Because from my own observation and other people's observation, corporates are very tightly structured and very bureaucratic in nature. So you can't shift your idea from here to there until unless it's got approved and filed back and then stamped and all those things. So
Yeah,
how did you experience the Google culture with respect to innovation?
that is true. Like there are like every big company will have bureaucracy, but I think like for example, there are different kinds of ideas. One idea is where you're building a new feature on the existing product. The other idea is like you have an idea of a different product on its own, like your completely separate product. You want to build a new product. So in the case of like first scenario where you have like a idea for a feature, you can easily discuss it with your TL, team lead and your manager. Hey, this is the idea I have, and this is the hypothesis I have. Like this is how it's going to help us. Uh, of course, like you will have to do your homework. Like you will have to do some analysis, like to to convince them, okay, why this is a good idea. And if that's like you have the numbers to show it, okay, yeah, you have like a good backing up of like with the data, like okay, this is the data that shows this is a good idea. Then you can just add it to your list of things for the next quarter. Okay, this is what I will be working on, rather than something else that who basically you can choose your own work. So you can come up with a work of your own and you can work on it. So there's like not a lot of bureaucracy involved in that, unless it's like a really it involves like multiple teams, in which case you will have to get approval from other teams because it's affecting them. So if I come up with an idea that affects like 7 different teams, then of course they need to approve my idea. They need to be on the same page. Otherwise, they will never use my feature. Uh, and for the product, let's say there's Google X. I'm not sure if it's called Google X, but like there's a domain of Alphabet
Yeah,
where
it's Google X. It's Google X.
yeah,
X for
and then
experiments.
there's Area 120. Area 120 is also like for the same idea. Like you come up with some great product idea, you you put like an internal posting like, yeah, this is my idea. I'm looking for team members. You gather your own team. Like if you have friends that works too, like okay, yeah, I have friends who are willing to work with me on this one, and then you form your team, and then you like I don't think it's a hard to get approval for Area 120 project, because you say like, okay, I have a really good cool idea, I want to work on that, and you basically work on that for however much time you like. Instead of like going to a new startup, you have like a place where you're getting your salary, which is like a safe zone, and a lot of people actually prefer to be in that safe zone. Or if idea works, really cool. If idea doesn't work, they just go back to their normal lives. But yeah, trial and error again. There are like a lot of products that never get to fruition because some technical things are, the team who pitched the idea was not able to implement that or something like that. Maybe like we don't have like enough technology, or there could be so many reasons why a product fails. But it doesn't discourage people from doing that. There's like so many products Google internal which are like which we got from Area 120. Google X is like even bigger version of it where you have like your a product that can be formed into a company. So you're like, okay, this is like even bigger scale.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'm just gonna sort of do a little bit drift on the conversation. Coming back to Pakistan, um, if you have the interaction with Pakistani students, what do you think is the key point that they need to polish? I would ask both with respect to their personalities and secondly with respect to their skill level. What do you think is the most important point in both the realms that is lacking within our community, within our student community, and within our student individuals that they really need to work on?
Uh, in respect of personality, I'm bolunga okay, openness. Like if somebody presents you like a strange idea, you don't reject it at once. Like hamari first instinct होती है like reject every new thing. Don't do that. Like think about it. Maybe there's some kind of like reasoning behind it. Maybe there's like really cool logic. Maybe you can be an entrepreneur based on that idea someday. The other thing, like in okay, sorry, can you rephrase your question? What was the second part of the question?
So just commenting on the first part, like you said, they need to be very open. One of the advice that I give to people who are already open and working on any interesting ideas, I just tell them, "नीवे नीवे होके लंगी जाओ." ठीक है, you just keep working on your own thing till you sort of make a big bang, and then you tell, यार मैं इसी पे काम कर रहा था, तुम लोग सुनते ही नहीं थे मेरी बात. So
Yes.
okay, the second question would be you answered it with respect to the personal profile, like they should be very open with respect to the skills, particularly if we focus on the CS graduates and software engineers, so or the engineers overall. What do you think is the number one skill that they should be going for, or they should be polishing, either at base level or either in expert level?
First of all, I think हमें काम करने की आदत होनी चाहिए. Like the thing I don't like about Pakistani culture is हमारे students को काम करने की आदत बिल्कुल नहीं होती. Like we don't have like a part-time job culture. It started in like big cities like Lahore, Islamabad, and Karachi, but I'm from like small town Karia. There's like not that kind of a culture. Again, like even Lahore में भी इतना ज़्यादा trendy नहीं है. I think it's gaining the heat now. Like it's getting more trendy, which is a good thing. It could be like anything. First of all, आपको काम करने की आदत पड़ गई है. Like you learn to how to manage your time. Then you can like move on towards specific domain. Like okay, yeah, I want to work in computer science, for example. Then you can get internships easily because you have already like all the ethics of work. So वो ethics of work develop करना भी बहुत जरूरी है. Um, Freelancing, I think both are like right now common in Pakistan में, but again like it doesn't like teach you how to work in a team. Like the work ethics, उसके लिए आई थिंक आपको किसी ना किसी कंपनी में करना पड़ेगा काम, या किसी सीनियर्स के साथ ही काम करेंगे तो सीखेंगे.
So one of I would relate to one of the experience that one of my juniors had. He said कि सर यहाँ पे तो काम कर रहा था मैं जिस वक्त he went into a US based firm whose technology department was all over here. He's like सर मेरी तो पहली मीटिंग में मुझे रोना दिला दिया था उन लोगों ने, इतनी ज़्यादा चीज़ें पूछी. आई वाज लाइक मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है. सो उससे फिर उसका वो एक तो कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल डेवलप हुआ, दूसरा उसको ये पता चला भाई मीटिंग से पहले या आपका अपना होमवर्क क्या होना चाहिए, एंड इफ यू आर इन चार्ज ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट व्हाट बीइंग इन चार्ज मीन. सो
I think
या
one of the
वर्क एथिक के
disadvantage
ऊपर
of
काफी
being
काम.
एक disadvantage जो है like as a being a computer scientist, या अगर मैं किसी प्रॉब्लम पे काम कर रहा हूँ और it's I'm stuck, so मैं रात को सो नहीं पाता. I'm like my brain will be functioning on that problem. I have this whiteboard on my back. I'll just draw pictures. I'm like I need to figure this out. Like हो क्या रहा है? Like मुझे क्यों solution नहीं मिल रहा?
It happens to me, especially it's something because I work in product design. So if I have a problem that is bugging me, I totally understand that feeling that you cannot sleep at night. But what happens with me most is like at 3 a.m. I would get the idea, okay yaar isko is tarah karna hai. I'm like yaar subah tak I'm gonna forget it, so let's just open up the notebook, draft it, take the notes. It takes me a half an hour, and then poof, all the sleep is gone, and then you're just sitting there working.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, just commenting on the point that you raised that हमारे स्टूडेंट कल्चर के अंदर जो काम करने का एक वो द लव फॉर वर्क बेसिकली और द एथिक फॉर वर्क वो नहीं है. आप सारे स्टूडेंट्स को अभी भी खुली आज़ादी मिली हुई है. आप स्टूडेंट को चॉइस दे दें कि भाई इधर बैठ के ये चीज़ कर लो जो कि तुम्हें नेक्स्ट लेट्स सपोज 6 मंथ्स के अंदर काम करेगी. लेट्स सपोज एल्गोरिदम ही अगर आपने सीखने हैं या एल्गोरिदम की एफिशिएंसी के ऊपर सीखना है, या तुम ऐसा करो घर चले जाओ.
या
आई
चाय
थिंक
खाना पे जाके चाय पी लो.
99% ऑफ द लोग घर चले जाएंगे. एक बंदा बैठा होगा. There is always one that guy. I think you might be it that just landed in Google or something like that. But that one guy is actually the key, and he actually chugs the whole class along. कि नहीं नहीं सर आप पढ़ाएं.
So no, actually like I was never that kid. मैं like शुरू से ही मुझे लगता था बड़ा अनकूल का, like सोसाइटी का जो प्रेशर होता है, like peer pressure जो होता है, और मेरे फ्रेंड इस तरह के थे नहीं कि like आप बोलोगे यार हम बहुत पढ़ेंगे. I think like a lot of classes we had like एग्जाम से पहले हमारा एक हॉस्टल के ग्रुप में इकट्ठे हो जाएंगे, उधर जाके बैठ के तैयारी कर रहे होंगे. It was in Punjab University, never happened in Hostra, क्योंकि I I really don't prepare for exams. You can सारा जब आप
No,
semester ध्यान देके पढ़ रहे हो.
I'm not saying with respect to just the academic thing. I'm saying with respect to anything. Like आप किसी को कहें यार ये अभी काम कर लो जो कि तुम्हें benefit देगा, या तुम जाके sorry
That's what I
I
was
got
gonna.
muted. Yeah,
That's what I
delayed
was gonna
gratification
get
वाला
to.
काम नहीं है यहाँ पे.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to say, like, a lot of people think like they are not like made for like big stuff. क्योंकि जितनी stories वो सुनेंगे ना, बोलेंगे हाँ मैं कॉलेज में बहुत high achiever था, मैं रात आज का काम काल पे नहीं छोड़ता था, all that, and that kind of like low key discourages us, like the common people. They get discouraged low key in my opinion कि यार मैं तो इतना मेहनती हूँ ही नहीं, मेरा तो चांस ही नहीं बनता. I would say like no, that's wrong. क्योंकि a lot of conferences I went to, I used to meet with people and वो बोलेंगे यार मेरा पैशन ये है, मेरा पैशन ये है, and I would be like scratching my head, यार मेरा पैशन क्या है? I don't know what my passion is. मुझे क्या करना लाइफ में, मुझे आइडिया ही नहीं है. And all of these people are so smart, they have like all these ideas and passions and uh, but I wasn't one of those. I think I did not have like clear vision. So like people who are out there that don't have clear vision, that don't have like a lot of high passion and that kind of things, don't get discouraged. Like you can do this too. Like you just need to realize like hard work and like maybe like a little bit of luck also plays in part of it. Like you just try it. Like you don't have to say like in an interview like I want to join this company because I'm so passionate. Nah, just be natural. Like just say okay, yeah, I'm in this company. I want to join your company because there's good money here. That's a perfectly fine answer. Like I would not discount anybody based on that answer. Okay, money is a good incentive too. Work-life balance is a good incentive too. Remote work is a good incentive too. Like you don't have to be like really passionate about anything. But again, like you have to kind of like enjoy certain things. For example, I enjoy all the perks, but when I'm working on a problem and I'm working on a project, like sort of like when you're playing video games, आप भूल जाते हो कि मुझे खाना खाना था, मुझे प्यास लग रही है. I'm kind of like in that kind of a zone when I'm working. But like not always, but like if something is like really interesting. So if you think like you don't enjoy programming and computer science, maybe like you should rethink like which field you want to be in. Like in being highly passionate is not very important. Like okay, you need to be like moderately passionate.
Couldn't find the unmute button. All right. So just wrapping it up a bit, what is your sort of a 2 minute, you can say, last message to people who will be watching this? Somebody from Google is talking to you. I think it's a big deal. And any student who is watching, anybody who's a fresh professional, what is your sort of last 5 minute message to them? What should they do?
I'm like really bad at these messages. Okay.
You have the experience, just go with it.
I,
Anything that
I don't
you
know.
think that anybody listening to you should focus on in their personal or professional lives? Basically, that's it.
So I'll speak from like the perspective of like my friends. Like from my perspective, like what I have noticed in my a lot of my acquaintances and friends is like, for example, अगर मैं अपने आप को लूँ, तो I was never top of the class. I was never at the bottom of the class. I was like always an average student, maybe like a slightly above average, but like never at the top, like never in the top five at any stage of my career. Like even now, like even in college, even in school. So like अगर आपको rejection मिलता है, actually like the thing is when I applied, I told like two of my friends and they started laughing. Ha ha ha, तूने Google में apply किया, तुझे किधर से job मिलेगी? And we have to like discount like negativity from our life. हमें वो like यार apply करो, क्या जाता है? Like the worst case scenario is आपको job नहीं मिलेगी, जो कि आप नहीं apply करोगे तो आपको पैसे भी नहीं मिलेगी. So get over the fear of rejection, apply, try to go for new opportunities. Like that's the biggest reason I signed up for this chai hour, because I have never done this sort of thing before. I was scared. I'm like, okay, if I'm scared, that's a good thing. I should do this. I should definitely do this now. So just get over the fear.
I give the same advice to youth, especially for their personal relationships. Just ask them out. So, what's the worst that's
So
going to happen? It's going to happen either way. Nothing is going to change that.
yep.
So yeah,
At least
I
you tried.
totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you tried. I totally. And then, but the lesson here would be next time brush up your CV and try again.
Yeah, always give something new next time. Like ये नहीं क्या भाई एक बार rejected है
Yeah,
second time exactly वही आप pitch लेके जा रहे हो. Second time something different.
yeah. So, all right. When are you coming to Pakistan? That's an interesting
Uh,
question as well.
not sure yet. Because like I was there in last October. That's like not even been a year yet. Or I was there in COVID, so it wasn't like very restricted, which I liked. I'm like, okay, yeah, fun times because New York, man, everything was on lockdown. Um,
I think if you landed back in Islamabad, Rawalpindi, you should have definitely visited Raja Bazaar. There was no lockdown here.
so I know like मैं like Lahore, Islamabad की काफी सारी जगह पे गया हूँ जिनके मुझे नाम नहीं आते. So if you say like Raja Bazaar, I might have been there, लेकिन मुझे उसका नाम नहीं पता होगा कि मैं कौन सी जगह पे घूम रहा हूँ.
All those Pindi boys in our, watching this live stream would, relate to it. कि भाई वहाँ पे तो
Yeah,
कोई फर्क नहीं था. Life was as usual. So,
yeah.
Arslan, thank you. Yeah, continue.
I'm like really bad with all the maps and roads and names. I mean, like human names are
Oh,
fine. Like in जो जगहों के नाम है ना वो मुझे नहीं याद रहते.
one
इसलिए
of my juniors used the term. Basically, it's known as I am directionally challenged.
exactly. I'm
You
gonna steal
don't
that
know
line.
where you are and where you're gonna go.
I'm gonna steal that line. I apologize in advance because I'm gonna use that a lot.
Yeah. I think you should, whenever you
Yeah,
are asking for directions or telling the directions, you just. One of my acquaintances, she uses this and she says, "Sorry, I'm directionally challenged. You will have to pick me up from somewhere. There's a building here. I don't know where I am."
yeah. There's a that reminds me of one more thing. Like whenever I'm out with friends and there's like no halal options, I always order like the vegetarian food, and they're like, "You don't eat meat." I'm like, "I am circumstantial vegetarian."
Totally agree with you there.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for your time, Arslan. We have already shared your LinkedIn profile, and I would really ask the audience to connect with you, but connect in a very decent manner. Give you a little bit space and present your question in a very professional manner. Whoever is watching this and wants to connect with Arslan, and hopefully, anybody who's applying to Google, just reach out to him as well, as he has gone through the whole process. He will give you some tips and tricks. At the same time, anybody who's trying to achieve whatever dream in their life, just like Arslan said, just go at it. Don't look at what the other person is saying, कि ये होगा नहीं होगा, and just go ahead with it. All right. Thank you very much, Arslan, for your time.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you so much for hosting this, like, and giving me this exposure.
So we can invite you for more sessions. That's not an issue. Just say the word and just let us know when.
Sure.
All
Like,
right. Thank you.
I will stay silent in the
Yeah.
moment, but like, sure, I will reach out maybe like silently on the chat or something if I.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anytime. All right. Thank you
All
very
right.
much, Arslan. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Allah
Okay.
Hafiz. All right, everybody. It's been a lovely session. Thanks to Arslan for their time. And now we will be signing off. If you have any questions or comments, just shoot it in the inbox of GDG Live or GDG Cloud Islamabad, and we will redirect it either to Arslan, or you can connect with him on LinkedIn and post your question directly over there. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and get updates about what GDG Cloud is all about and what we are doing and what I do for a living as well. So hopefully this has been a worthwhile session for anybody who's watching it live or anybody who's watching the recorded session on YouTube or Facebook as well. So this is Arshan signing off. All the best for your future endeavors. Thank you.